Hi, folks. I have a very quick video for you today, but hopefully this will be one you can reference again and again as you need it. This video will be going over the MLA formatting guidelines for the essay we're currently working on and future essays as well. So for this essay, you are required to have your essay formatted in MLA formatting, as well as you have in-text citations that you'll need and works cited citations that you'll need. So I'm going to show you how to do all of those things. I'm going to go through these slides that I'll also attach, and I will show you how to do it in a Word document for yourself. So in academic writing, we have lots of different formatting styles and documentation styles. A formatting style or documentation style is just a set of standards for writing and documenting used by writers. And these formatting styles can help us find and evaluate the information that's included in the document. It can help alert the audience to the trustworthiness of the findings or the sources in citations. And then it will also help you shape the expression of your ideas in conversation with others. So the idea is that if we're using the same formatting style, our thesis statements are in the same place. We are similarly organizing our essays. All the information that I need to find, like the publisher of a source or what page number I'm on, all of that stuff's going to be the same for each document. And that helps us stay consistent within our fields. But it also helps any reader who's picking up your writing kind of understand and be able to find anything that they need to in your document. The MLA formatting style that we'll be using for this unit comes from the Modern Language Association. That's what MLA stands for. And MLA formatting is currently in its 9th edition. So if you are looking at rules online or looking for videos to help you other than this one, make sure that you're getting the 9th edition version. There have been previous versions. There have been 8 previous versions. So this one has some things that have changed since the 8th edition. So just make sure that if you are looking for MLA rules, online or in Purdue OWL or whatever, that you are getting the 9th edition. There are other formatting styles that you might have heard of and that you might use in your future classes, like APA, that's from the American Psychological Association. There's also Chicago and Turabian. Those are often used by history fields, whereas APA is used in social sciences, sociology, education, psychology, obviously. So it depends on what field you're writing in that determines what formatting style you'll use. So there are some very similar formatting rules per each formatting style, but different style guides have different rules for you as a writer to document your writing. However, almost every formatting style has rules about where the writer's name should appear, where the writer's course information or university/publisher information should appear, where the page numbers should appear on the page, how paragraphs should be formatted, how in-text citations should be formatted, and how the research should be referenced. Often this is either in a works cited page at the end, a references list at the end, or what's called a bibliography. All of these come from different citing sources, obviously, but for MLA, we will be using works cited pages. So the first thing, and something you might already be familiar with, is the name and course information for your document. In this class, when we're using MLA formatting, it should appear at the top left of your page. So right when you start your document for the first time, the only thing that should appear in the top left is your name, so the student's name, the professor's name, in this case, Professor Outler, English 1101, and then below that is the date. The date that you include on your draft should actually be the due date for the assignment. So for example, if you are turning in something that's due on October 2nd, you would put 10/2/26 or the 2nd of October 2026 as the date. You do not want to put the date that you are working on the document. Below that, you'll see the title in this essay here. It's Distance Learning in College. So that's the title, and you'll notice that it is centered on the page. I'll show you how to do that. But first, the text on the page itself is in a specific font, format, and size. So your entire essay should be in Times New Roman font, as you see here. That's how you change it if you're in a Word document. And it should be in size 12 always. So Times New Roman and size 12 every time that you turn in an MLA formatted document. Your title should come on the line directly below the date that you've already included. So make sure that title is centered. And how you'll do that is in this red circle here, the button in the paragraph section of the Home tab on Word shows some text that is centered. You'll click that button and it will center the title that you have highlighted. If you have trouble with that, Or if you are someone who enjoys a keyboard shortcut, you can also hold the control key and hit E, and it will center the text as well. Make sure when you're trying to change anything about text on your page that you're highlighting it so you can click and drag, and I'll show you how to do that in a Word document a little bit later. The entire essay also needs to be double spaced. That includes your works cited page, your title, your course information, everything. So highlight the text that you want to double space. In this case, it might be your whole essay. And then go to the paragraph section, like I have demonstrated here, in the home tab of the Word document, and you'll find a little button that looks like this. It's got an arrow pointing up, an arrow pointing down, and then some lines. This is your line spacing button. Once you click that, you'll be given some number options, and we click 2.0 because that makes it in double space. So once you've clicked 2.0, all of the material that you highlighted in that document should be now double spaced. If you have a full essay that you're trying to double space, maybe you forgot to before you started typing, if you hold Control and then hit the A key, that highlights your whole document for you. That might not be super annoying to click and drag to highlight your whole, 3-page or 4-page essay. But once you start getting into essays that are longer, it might take a long time or be kind of annoying to click and drag to highlight the whole thing. So one way that you can shortcut that is holding the Control key and then hitting A. I believe in that case, A stands for all, like highlight all. So Control A highlights the entire document. You'll also be required to indent your paragraphs. An indent is a 1/2 inch space that goes in front of each paragraph. So as you can see here where the red arrows are, there's about a 1/2 inch space on that first line that does not appear on the following lines. To create an indent, make sure that your cursor or your little flashing eye icon is in front of the first sentence of your paragraph, and then you'll hit the Tab key on your keyboard. Make sure that all your paragraphs are indented. Sometimes if you indent the first paragraph, the next one will automatically indent because it knows that you want to indent all of them. So just keep an eye on your indents and make sure that each paragraph is indented. This makes it easier for people who are reading your essay to know when a new paragraph has started instead of just looking at a wall of text and having to decide where one begins and one ends. The next thing you're required to incorporate are page numbers. For MLA formatting, page numbers appear at the top right-hand side of every page of your document. To apply a page number to a Word document, you'll go to the Insert tab of the Word document. So see, we're not in Home anymore, we're in Insert now. And then go over to the button that says Page Number. This looks a little different for people who are in the browser version versus the desktop version of Microsoft Word. So if you're in the browser version, you might have to hunt for that page number button a little bit more, but I will show you how to do that in the browser version as well. To apply the page numbers, go to the Insert tab and click Page Number. You will then be given options of at the top of the page or at the bottom of the page. Make sure you choose top of page and then top right to make that page number appear in the top right-hand corner. Another thing that you will need to do once that page number appears, your last name should appear in front of the page number. So as you can see here, it says last name 1. You'll click in the page number and then put your last name there, and I'll show you how to do that in a Word document. You're also required to incorporate in-text citations when referencing any sources of outside research or any other outside sources within the text of your own paragraph. You're required to cite that source. Anytime you directly quote or even paraphrase or put in your own words, any ideas or words or arguments from an outside source, you must cite that source. Otherwise, you will be plagiarizing. So make sure to cite your source. In this case, you will be citing with the last name of the author and then the page number of the source. As you can see here, they're going to be in parentheses at the end of the sentence that has the referenced material. So in this case, there's a quote that says face-to-face on-campus classes are preferred, the most with 73% positive response. There's an end quotation mark indicating that the quote is over. Then you have an open parentheses, the last name of the author, the page number that quoted material appeared on, and then a close parentheses, all ending with a period. The period always goes at the very end after the in-text citation and after the quote. It goes at the end of everything. The period does not need to appear within the quote or before the parentheses. And then the last thing that you will be required to incorporate is a works cited page. For MLA formatting, all of your outside sources should be listed at the end of your essay in a document called the works cited page. Here you list all works that you have cited, given the name, right? Meaning that nothing should appear on this list unless it is directly cited within the body of the essay. So for example, if you read a text for your research paper, but then you do not end up incorporating any ideas or words from that source into your essay, then it does not need to appear in the works cited page. The only thing that appears there should be things that you quoted or directly cited. When you are creating your works cited citations, a typical MLA citation that appears on the works cited page will have these components: the author, the title of the source, the title of the container that the source was published in, any contributors, what version number and publisher it was published under, the date it was published, and the location. So as you can see here, this first source, Emily Long is our author. Mental health discussions among rural residents, a social network approach, that's the title of the article. Rural and Remote Health is the title of the journal it was published in. It was published in volume 25, number 3 of that journal on July 2025, and it starts on page 9450. Then there's a hyperlink or DOI at the end because it is an electronic source. So anytime you are referencing an electronic source, you must incorporate the DOI or hyperlink for that source. The same goes for the second one. Margaret S. Yoon is the author. It goes last name, comma, first name. The title of the source is Credits, Debts, and Charity, the Economics of Pride and Prejudice. The Philological Quarterly is where it was published, what journal it was published in. It was published in volume 102, number 4 of that journal in September of 2023, and it was pages 295 through 317. And then finally, there is the DOI or a link.